All right, good evening and welcome to the Village of Webster Board meeting for October 13th, 2022. If you would stand, please, and Jude, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Be seated.
Whoa. Before we get started, it is the mayor's birthday today.
Yes.
So just wanted to
Happy birthday.
wish him a happy birthday. And the audience, you may join us for a piece of cake if you like.
It's not very good, you won't like it. Shall we sing?
You've already
It's
sampled.
probably not a bad idea. Maybe we should say, we only turn 100 once.
I usually let Jake test out the baked goods first.
Oh, happy birthday, sir.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, thought I had retired 12 years ago. Okay. I appreciate the comments, though. Thank you. Our first item that we have this evening is public comment, and so I would open the podium, the floor open to anyone who would like to address the board this evening. You should have a call. Yeah. You must get one response. Call it.
We can do it again.
Huh?
We can do it again.
You might want to do that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It might be a good thing to do. Huh? Okay, no one wishes to address the board this evening, so we will close the public comment portion of the meeting. We will consider phone call in the future. I think that might be good. So we'll move to regular scheduled items, and number one, we have this evening a resolution to approve the claims and warrants. Jerry and Al, you had an opportunity, I believe, to look them over.
Yes, we did.
And anything there that is unusual, or anyone else who has a question?
I did not have any questions.
Good.
Fairly late.
No, not to close questions.
No.
Just like $7,000 for the lawyer's outfit. Oh, what else for? Where's
Go.
Okay, looks like Sandbar Well House demo contract. Good, that's progressing. We'll probably hear a little bit about that later from Jake. Okay, and I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims and warrants.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Abolito?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next, we have a resolution to authorize the mayor to sign temporary easement with Greenbrier for snow plowing. This is something that they have asked for. It is only a temporary easement specific, I believe, for snow plowing and ice control only. That is being made with Pride Mark. I believe that it's only for the two roads, Jake?
Really, the one horseshoe-shaped road, and then there's little turnarounds at the end. It's Autumn Leaf Trail that comes in, and it's kind of a horseshoe, and then Cedar Way. Cedar Way Circle, is that what it's called? Oh. it's not-
Yes, Cedar Way Circle, right?
Yeah, it's just a little turnaround right now.
Used as turnaround. Okay. I believe they're asking for that because there are tenants that are moving into the buildings that they have. correct?
Yep, they've sold them and there's village residents there.
Homeowners, not just
Homeowners.
not renting, they actually.
Well, I said residents.
Oh, I thought you said
No, I
tenants.
didn't say renters.
Yeah, I don't know.
Currently, there's 4 with a tornado, so.
That's why they like their street.
Yes.
I would too. Shoveling would be pretty tough. Okay, so this is something that we need authorization for. So if I can have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign this temporary easement with Greenbrier for snow plowing.
I'll make that motion.
And I would assume our legal has reviewed this.
Jake expertly drafted it, and only reviewed it with some suggested changes.
And expertly corrected
That question should be asked when we sign it.
It was a joint effort.
Good question.
Thank you.
Sure.
It was.
All right. Now I feel better.
Would you like to make the motion?
I will, sir.
Oh,
Carl already did.
Oh, Carl already did.
But
I
it
think
is-
Judy seconded it.
Judy second.
What do you think?
So can't really do it.
Trustee Lauer,
Aye.
trustee Lancy, trustee Belkane,
All right.
trustee Polito,
Aye.
Mayor By.
aye.
Motion passes.
Next, we have mayor's updates on tax exemption. I believe that I may look to my treasurer for that information.
No, isn't this, you're having a meeting about this?
You had to talk with Tom at Lita.
Yeah, you're having a
Oh,
meeting. This isn't the budget thing.
Nice try, girl.
So you just told me you're meeting.
No.
Happy birthday to
Yeah,
A couple glasses of wine before you got here.
no, not actually. What,
You asked Supervisor Flaherty what their opinion was or what route they were going in with the tax change.
oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. And actually, I asked him if they had already moved ahead on it or had given it consideration. And as of last week, he said that they have not. So whether or not that's on their agenda or was on the agenda for tonight in the workshop or will be, that's something that I do have a meeting. In fact, Don and I have a meeting tomorrow with him. I can bring that up and ask whether or not they have moved on that or not. Just for the public's awareness, the question about tax exemptions, I guess the last change was in 2008 when both the town and the village, subsequently also the village, established tax exemption for two things. One was for disability and one was also for senior citizens. And it was for a reduction in taxes based on income for the year that included things that they had in terms of savings, etc. But I believe it was currently somewhere around 26,000. I think so, somewhere in that neighborhood. And the state has just approved increasing that, which is primarily for downstate, to $50,000, but has left it up to villages, towns, municipalities to make that fit for their own constituency. So that is a question that is before both the village and the town at the moment, and so there are discussions going on between both the town, the school district, apparently is in on that, the fire district.
Do you know, I
At least somebody said that, I
Yeah,
thought.
Supervisor Flaherty said, when we asked, when Mayor Byers asked, oh, you know, we were wondering what you guys were doing. And he said, well, we're gonna wait for the county, see what they do, but also it's not just us two, Daryl. He said it's also the school district and the fire district. And he didn't know for sure, and they didn't, well,
Right, I
Brian
mean,
Needham didn't know either.
the school board,
Yeah. So we're not sure.
I'm not sure because I don't know, the fire district, they have state laws about how they tax, but they don't pass local laws. So I don't know how the fire district would adjust the assessments. I don't know what mechanism.
I don't know if he was accurate in terms of what he said, including 5 different entities in that. Personally, I thought it would just be between the village and the town, because that's all I saw historically back to 2008. The town was first and we were second in that. That was obviously prior to my time, but I was not aware of that. It was a surprise. But anyways, we're working that out, and that's something that is still ongoing in discussions with the town. So that's where we are. There are, I think, 70, no, it's 48, I believe, that were eligible from the village under one of the exemptions and 4 under the second exemption. So it doesn't really impact a great number of people. So we're waiting to see, and we'll have discussions, and we'll keep you apprised of what's going on and what we decide to do. Okay. So that's the update on that. We may have more information after next week, because I believe that it's next week Friday that there's a proposal for the 5 entities to go to Skemiatlas to confer with Tessie, the leadership of Tessie Enterprises that have bought at the Xerox property, and tour their facility there, their main headquarters, and have a discussion with the CEO and those in authority, and get a little bit of info in terms of what's going on here at the Xerox property. So we'll have more next meeting, and we'll let you know the result of those discussions, and also hopefully a little bit more in terms of the update here on the tax exemption as well. Have discussions with the mayor, with the supervisor. Okay? We have a budget to actual report in front of you. I believe that it's looking pretty good. There are a couple of red lines, but there are also a lot of 0% as well. So that's encouraging. It looks like we're starting off pretty well. Okay. It's primarily as if the red lines are somewhere in the sewer.
Well, the general was, they're all set up, oh, sorry. They're supposed to all be formatted that way so that anything over, I think I said anything over 80% is in yellow and anything over 90% is in red. But the general fund, it didn't seem to happen that way. But we
My eyes
are,
are getting bad because everything I see says lead. I don't have one color on this page.
there is, the only thing that is really big that I would like to point out is on the second page of the general fund, we've got buildings and village hall equipment, 1620,200. Yeah, and that is what we paid, was that the demo, Jake? That was the well field abatement or demo?
Yeah, it looks like the sandbar one.
Yeah.
It looks like both are, they both are in there. And there's the demo,
Yeah.
one of them was 23.7, the other one was 29, I believe.
Right. Yep, so you're gonna see a budget mod coming through for that. But that was planned for. We just didn't get it into the budget. I don't know how we didn't, but it'll get there.
We had that, in the, well, decommissioning reserve, I think we, this was
Yes.
transferred.
There was a 52,000 to date action. Any comments on that?
Sorry. Al was asking about A 6410-100, the landscape maintenance personnel line. When Jake splits out the 100 lines, it's really just a guess of how we're going to split up that labor pie. So we just spent more time on landscape personnel than Jake guessed we would, but it's going to all even out.
It'll be a little bit less in terms of snow plowing. We're not going to get as much snow.
Not on hold.
Not on wood. All right. At this time, I think we'll move to Don. Don, if you have anything that you would like to let us know about, other than what we already do know.
No, other than, I was just going to mention our meeting tomorrow, but you already did. The primary purpose is to discuss the proposed IMA for the joint sewer outfall. So we'll see how that goes.
I believe that the last email that I think I received, Rick Canale was supposed to be in contact with DAO.
DC?
DEC.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to have more information, which would be given then to the supervisor and the attorney, that they would be able to then provide to us more definitively what DEC was specifically going to be asking and requiring, and then we can go from there. Really, I have two items to ask regarding tomorrow. One is regarding the split in terms of the sandbar, and the other one is the
Right.
Okay. Trick or treat trail.
Yep. So trick or treat trail will happen at 11:30 this year, not noon. 11:30 to 2:30. And the costume contest will be 11 to noon. And I reached out, myself and Elena, we were at a meeting with the school district and the PTSA about White Christmas, and I asked the president of the PTSA if she could send us any volunteers for the costume contest, and she said she would love to, so we can do some participation in government hours. So we've got some students coming to help us, and everything is going. Looking really good right now. So, and we couldn't get juice boxes to hand out because it would have cost $800, but we did get mini waters for you and some candy.
Some candy?
Yes.
It's any problem, isn't it?
No, you're not gonna run out. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no sneaking. So, yeah, it's going along really well, and we're really
Christmas parade is on.
Yes, it's back on. Fire department is taking it over. Is anyone coming, gonna be able to come for costume contest and show?
Yeah.
29th. Saturday. Yep. Okay. That'd be great. We do. Thanks. And then they always comes and passes out candy for us with his daughter and very fun.
A lot of candy. Dang.
Yeah. We're gonna do a lot.
Something new also for the costume party. It's drink
Yep, we
and also popcorn.
got popcorn balls
Yeah.
to give out to each kid, and we got a donation for juice boxes.
You guys want to carry that?
I haven't decided yet. That's a good question.
You can borrow Daryl's brain.
You did that? You did
You could do that.
You can borrow Daryl's brain. Brain costume. The green thing, or is it an alien?
That's too hot. All right. Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
Well, we turn now to the other end of the table. Jake?
Okay, for sewer, the preliminary designs wrapping up for the wastewater treatment plant project. We're working with the town on the alcohol connections, doing some investigation and sorting out what's there and what's not. We met with them a week and a half ago, so we're going good on that. The Ready project, the sandbar well decommissioning, 2 of the pumps have been pulled. They started yesterday, and we've got 3 more of the main supply pumps to go, and then there's 3 more water supply, or the rock wells there. So there's 8 wells there altogether. So they have 2 of the 8 pulled, and I believe one of the other rock wells is empty anyway. So once they get them all pulled, then they're going to get everything together, be able to fill them and finish decommissioning those. So that's moving along. It's nice to see. The leaf pickup's probably going to start next week, mid to end of next week. We're wrapping up gutters and some of the paving that we did and drain inlets and things like that we're doing now. So that should be wrapped up. That's keeping us busy. And then obviously we've got the Oktoberfest wasn't on here, but that's this weekend. We're doing some preparation for that as well. We swept the street today and doing stages and things prepped to be able to go out there for that. So that's, see what time it is? 3 to 9, I think? No, they're closing the road now at 3. I think it starts at 4:30. 4:30 or 5 to 9. There's some walk, I don't know if it's a beer walk or a wine walk or something.
It's beer.
Beer.
Walk. And then the Oktoberfest is kind of everybody's finishing up that on West Main Street there, so it'll be nice. Some update we sent, we did the auction last weekend, we sent 4 vehicles and a plow for an attachment for a Bobcat. I think we did pretty well. The vehicles, they get $65,650. Yeah, I did 40 in that email, so they did quite well. It was I think a successful auction. The biggest ticket item was our old back-on truck. We got our new back-on. The old back-on was we got 30,000, which was yeah, a bit more than we were expecting. So that turned out good. We had a 2000 F550 at 14.5, and our old sewer work van, the service van there, that got 15,200. So yeah, the old Ranger got 5,500. So
That's great.
oh my good. And just a reminder with the leaf pickup, to if anybody's watching, leave or if you see your neighbors and friends, leave the leaves out of the gutters and out of the street lines. Keep them back on the grass so we can pick them up. It's a constant reminder. So we're here, but We pick them up when they're along the edge of the street, and they, especially a day like today, if they get raked out in the pile, you're stopping all the drainage in the neighborhood, so I want to keep those things full. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Trey. We were going to enter into executive session, but I believe that we are not going to do that. Did you have a question?
Oh, yeah, I just had a question. If we, as a village, dictated what the minimum wage that we would offer is, I mean, so it should be fair and equitable to anybody that comes in that would have the same experience. If you're going to start someone at 17, the next time 16, what is the minimum that someone's walking in the door? Businesses all over the place are establishing at least what that is. And I was just curious what you thought was and what that is.
I think that what we have done is to look at experience coming in and whether or not it was new to a municipality and having to consequently train them, which is a little bit different municipality, different than private business. So that was part of what they were, I think, looking at, or what we look at. And then once that has been, once they picked up on municipal concepts, I suppose, the municipal job, then there is looking at what would be consequently fair in terms of.
And I'm not talking about differentiating or about a certain candidate. I am saying,
Yes.
what is the entry level, if you have no experience to come and work here? What is that number? Or is it whatever we want it to be when we hire them? Which I think is not appropriate. I think there should be.
Doesn't it depend on the job? Like, wouldn't the minimum in public works be different than the minimum?
No, not necessarily. The minimum is the minimum, and then the positions are elevated by the different levels of jobs. But what is the minimum that you can come and work at the village? Is it matching what the state level is? Are we going to do what other organizations done? Maybe 17, 1750, whatever it is. What is the lowest level position pay? Or we just, if you have someone that you hire this year, no experience, and this board gave them $17.85 an hour, and then someone came a year later with no experience and we gave them $17.25 an hour, that's wrong, and how are you determining that? I just think it's loose, so I was just asking, is there a minimum? What is our rate when you come in?
It seems like typically we just kind of, it's not based off any real data. And that was true for a treasurer's position. So, you know, I think that was, I would say that's a fair statement. For our office clerk position, it's not really municipal work. It's just office clerk work. And so that's kind of the same regardless. She's doing payroll, that kind of stuff doesn't really change.
But then the town said, this is if you come with no experience, here's the rate.
Yes.
So that's what I'm asking.
Yes, and she did, and I provided that information.
Yes, you do. So that's what this is.
So the board had asked us to, Marcia, myself, and Joe, to do kind of an assessment. I mean, I tried for 17 when she started, but you guys were just like, oh, it's for 16. But I apologize, I didn't really show you real data, but that's the lowest person that makes that is a part-time position, and that's an entry level. And Donna already had, the office clerk, this person already had experience.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about being person, I'm just,
No.
I'm
So
just
it
making
seems
this
like-
in general.
It seems a little skewed. Well, I
I
guess.
think we probably should. This is a different point established.
Right.
And we also, I also asked a question, it was done prior too also, when there was another person who came in without municipal experience. And it was starting
And that's valid, but that position wasn't entry level. He's specifically talking, if I'm correct,
right.
you're talking about entry level positions.
Should do that.
And we probably definitely should do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you, if I'm understanding Jerry correctly,
That's all I'm
that was right. With the treasurer position, that wasn't entry level though. I think are you specifically talking about someone coming in entry level? Yeah, we don't really have a set rate. We do. So we started her at a rate, and I met with myself, Marcia, and Joe met with Mayor Byers, and we showed that we looked up data with the town, a couple towns, all the villages, and a couple other similar civil service positions, and she's well below what she should be. And also keep in mind that this was 2021. These are figures from 2021, so we don't have 2022 yet, but. And keep in mind, the first column are all based off no experience. So I would like to increase hers to $2 from what she's making now, which is, we started her at 16, and I would like to put her to 18.40, which is just a $2, and that puts her still lower than some, but that's what I would like. It would be 18.40. She's at 16.40 now.
I'm okay with that.
Marcia, you okay with that? With what the budget for it?
Yeah.
Marcia, did you want to say anything?
Personally, I just.
Is there anything you want to
say
do?
18.
Did she help me with this data too?
I don't quite understand that. That was going to be executive session.
Well, I don't think there's anything that's final with it, it's just a discussion.
Or a discussion.
He said it can't be, he says it has to be on a public meeting, Don. I asked.
Is that true, sir?
If you're discussing pay grades and what you're going to pay somebody, that's not subject to an executive session. This isn't a promotion you're considering. Same job, same duties, same everything. You're just talking about the pay. It's no different than, in fact, I question why this conversation didn't happen or discussion happened during the budget process, but that's what it should happen.
That's a fair enough question.
But it's no different than when you talk about what raises you're going to give at budget time. It's all, you got to do that in an open meeting.
It is public knowledge. We just usually don't, it's not comfortable, but you have to, I get, especially if you're going to vote on it. I agree with that part. But. So we are coming to the board, and I wanted to, Marcia helped me with this data too, so was there anything that you wanted to add?
I don't think so, only that in some cases it's hard to make comparisons, apples to apples comparisons, because the municipalities are so different. Like the town of Webster's clerk is going to have much different duties than our office clerk does. But I do think that what you're looking at is a fair, kind of smoothed out overview of what similar positions are paying in this area.
And just because what you said to me were saying it's so different parameters, I think that's why we need to set up our own parameters.
Right.
Or if it's too loose,
But
and then you can.
we did ask the town clerk what the duties were. So for the town, it is similar. These are all very similar duties, but I think it's hard for private sector and public to quantify it, but so that's why we did this, and this is all very similar positions. And if you will notice, Marcia did the average for me, and the average is 21.28 between all of them. So we're asking to go to 18.40, which is still, and if you see, she's making 16, we started her at 16. That's the only one that's close to that is a part-time position, and again, she came with experience.
I don't think anyone's questioning that as of yet. I heard it, I'm still questioning that we need to have parameters around there.
Well, and obviously that might not be what happened tonight, but I'm hoping that you might be able to just come up with a decision on this, if that's okay. Because she should be, this is where we should have started her. And you're done.
Right, but for future, that's when you negotiate.
Exactly.
You negotiate up front, you don't negotiate in the middle. Because you know how I feel that, just asking for a reason. I understand when they're not attached to performances, we haven't seen performances. You don't want to feel.
I know, I do, and this is not technically an increase. based off, this is something we should have started, and I did come to the board when they said this, and I said I would like to start her at 17, and sometimes I feel like, I understand where you're coming from, you want to save resident money, I understand that, but, and if I had been more prepared, but,
So you need to call this so you know when you come, so that way they call this an equity adjustment. That's what you're asking for. That is the best term for what this is. It's not a promotion, it's not a raise, it's not a bonus. It's an equity adjustment based on your research. She's below where she should be, and
we're trying to make her competitive and appropriate for what
Very
she's
good.
doing.
I got you.
First thing before you. I told you already.
I understand, but it's still, still a lot lower, she has experience, these are all positions that did not have experience. No, she came with experience when she started. It was different, like someone who, like a past office clerk, they came in completely green. She was already doing this, she was running an office. She was an office manager. No, Jerry, you can't have her. Here,
I have an opening.
listen, she's a keeper.
What is it, age, or
I was gonna ask him first.
Hey,
what is your opening be?
I can't discuss
Can't
this.
discuss, can't divulge.
Can we carpool?
He's much improved with typing skills, I think. That one.
I say we vote on it $2.
thank you.
Yes.
But like, we've said this about a bunch of things, we'll never come back to it, but I still think we have to discuss
Do
that.
you want me to set up a workshop?
A parameters.
Yes.
Would you like a workshop?
Yeah.
Yes,
You guys can do it in
absolutely.
the workshop, so that there are parameters, not just,
Right.
although there is a degree of leeway, but there should be an establishment. If someone is being hired for a position, do they have experience? And is running an office privately versus running and doing things in a municipal setting?
It's not really, in this case,
All the
not
other
different.
things.
Yeah. So there has to be consideration given to this scale.
But if you do an equity adjustment, it's best to do it, say, you pick a whole group, and you're gonna do an equity office, it's the same for everybody.
Yeah.
Not just picking
I
a
wasn't
person.
professional.
Well, when you call it that, it's, you're really seeing, making sure that people, especially now, it's a challenging world, and you gotta be competitive.
Yeah.
Can't include us.
So did you take a resolution to grant this equity adjustment?
Trustee Lauer said he would like to ask for one, and then there was more discussion.
Okay.
I have something to say.
No, just end up with a resolution, that's all, because I didn't know where this was going. It's just like
Yeah.
this rambling discussion about.
It's the Bears in Washington.
Oh,
You don't wanna get on the
They changed
bad.
that.
And it's Daryl's birthday, and there's cake.
It sounded like you already, the consensus was to grant it, so.
Yes.
But you need to memorialize it in the form of a resolution.
Yeah, we were just letting you guys finish your conversation before we vote.
And have the minutes reflect that it is a quote, equity adjustment and not a
Equity
raise.
adjustment.
I agree.
I learned something new from you every day, Mary.
We'll do the, monument hanging on the wall.
Ready?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
So
Oh, you didn't say it.
have we
I
put it
second.
out there
He said $2. That's about
as a monument, as a equity adjustment?
correct.
yes.
Where does mine
Something that's wrong.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I got to say all in favor. I'm in trouble over there. I got you a birthday cake.
I didn't get a birthday date, can I get an equity cake?
You said you didn't want anything. You said you're trying to,
That's a good idea.
I'll just take
Jake
that.
is too,
All
is
right.
it?
A couple of things. We have village board meeting coming up October 22nd, or 27th. And also next week on Thursday, there is a zoning board meeting. And there is at least one item that I know of that's on the agenda. So we'll make you aware of that. That also starts at 7 o'clock here in the boardroom. So just be aware of that. We have Oktoberfest this weekend. We have Trick or Treat Trail on the 29th. And a lot of good things happening in the village. So, hope to see you around. All right, anything else anybody would like to? No?
Please join us for cake.
No? You're welcome. Yeah.
We'll leave it live on the cake. You can make a wish.
Okay, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Thank you for attending and for watching.
Thank you for sharing your 100th birthday with us.